And this can vary, but generally speaking, I prefer sleeping in separate beds, separate rooms. Now, there are times especially early on, like first time she's sleeping over, guest room. Or, well, it depends. It depends the context. If she's like visiting me, separate guest room, separate bedrooms. If she's lives in the same city, you can go home. Like you're not sleeping over. I guess she could stay in the guest room if she really wanted, but you're not sleeping over. And I've had times where I'm not a dick about it, but I'm just like, I've had girls who have come out to see me. I don't know, it was a couple years ago, whatever. I've had a girl who's come out to see me, like she flew out for 2 days or something. And, we're having a good time. Everything's good. And it's getting late. I'm like, all right, well, hey, we should, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to bring you to the guest room and I'll get you all set up. And the girl freaks the fuck out. Freaks out. Oh my God, I can't sleep in the same bed as you. That's how women talk, by the way. They lose their fucking shit and cause a bunch of friction. Like I've had women crash out. I'm not even joking. Like everything's gone good, everything's good, and I'm like, hey, it's getting kind of late. I think we're both tired. I'm gonna set you up in the guest room. They crash the fuck out. Oh, what the fuck? I can't sleep in the same bed as you? They lose their shit. Crash out. I'm like, this is really what you want to do right before bed? And then it's terrible. And then like after that, I'm just like, I lost interest. I totally lose interest. I'm like, because if you're going to fight me on this, like look, I think it's okay for women to want to like sleep in the same bed as the guy. I think that's totally fine. You're not wrong for wanting that. But your response to me having this boundary and saying, I want to put you in the guest room, which isn't like abuse. It's not abusive or anything. It's not, you might be disappointed as a woman. Women need to regulate their response. You can be disappointed. You can even be a bit visibly disappointed. But you shouldn't be trying to negotiate it with me. You shouldn't crash out. You shouldn't be like arguing and bickering and nagging with me. You should just be like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Regulate. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So they're just mad that they can't sleep with you. Is that the whole problem?
Well, we already slept together, but they can't sleep with me, like in my bed.
But see, that's the thing. Like, you're gonna sleep with these women. You're gonna put them down. You're gonna lay down with them, but you're not gonna lay down with them when it comes to rest.
Nothing wrong
So
with
see,
that.
How can you do the laying down part, but how can you be saying all these things and just not lay down with them? How can you just keep it?
Sure.
You're gonna be sexual with them.
Yep.
But you can't even lay in the same bed as them. How is that right?
What do you mean by right? Like, are you saying it's
in your mind? How do you think that's right? That you?
Well, are you
it's
saying
okay
it's
for you to
morally-
sleep with them and
well, hold on.
like have sex with them?
Are you making a moral? Like, is it morally wrong?
Well, no. I just want to understand where you're coming from because, like,
yeah. So it's
my thing is like I want to know why you think it's okay to sleep with them, but
Sure.
like you can't sleep with them.
No,
what
I'm
goes
happy.
through your head
Yeah, I'm happy to go into that, but really quick, do you think that that's wrong?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to know your understanding with it because you can do what you want to do.
Okay, so
I'm not going to judge you on that front, but I want to know what goes through your head when you're doing those things.
Yeah. I'll get right to that, but really quick, do you think it's wrong?
No.
Okay, would you be upset if presented with that situation?
I would not sleep with you and then be presented with that option because
Are you a
I'm not
virgin?
sleeping with somebody who's even going to present that to me.
So.
Even the audacity of that.
The audacity, yes.
Because I'm not sleeping
the
with a
audacity
man.
of a man to have a boundary as it
I
relates
have
to
boundaries
his,
also, and I expect
your
a man
boundary.
also.
So your boundary would be, if I sleep with you, we're sleeping in the same bed.
No, I'm not sleeping with
That's
you
total
until we
contradiction,
can
but
both meet each other's expectations. I don't think he should sleep with me until I meet his expectations, which is, whether he's a traditional man or not. If he wants me to sleep with him, I should meet his expectations of being a rightful woman, a righteous woman, before he sleeps with me, and he should be a righteous man before I sleep with him.
I see. Okay. So you're Christian, correct?
I am.
Okay. What denomination?
I mean, I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he died on the cross for my sins. I don't really go into denomination.
Do you go to church?
I don't.
Do you read the Bible? Do you follow
do.
Scripture?
I do,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. So you're saying, let's assume, is it possible that a situation could arise where before you sleep with a guy and this conversation had not yet been parsed, had not yet been had?
Any Proverbs 31 woman is going to have this conversation beforehand.
What conversation?
You know, we all desire certain things. We should all have the understanding of each other's desires before we even get into bed with each other.
So you should understand if someone has a desire to sleep freely on their own bed, and
Yeah.
anyone can choose who sleeps in their bed.
Absolutely. Yeah, but you shouldn't lay down with somebody and have sex with them and then expect it to be okay to just shove them out of your room.
She's saying it's wrong.
I think that, in that sense, if you're gonna
If you're gonna what?
If you're gonna them,
okay, yeah, if
you
you're gonna have
know,
sex.
like you should at least lay down and cuddle with them a little bit.
Well, hold on.
Like, be so serious.
Well, okay.
Don't just lay down and unless you're gonna with them too. Be for real.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's kindness. That's courtesy.
Well, no, not necessarily. So again, I'm just to be clear here. When it comes to separate beds thing, I'm not saying like the first time you ever have sex with a girl, you have sex with her, and then as soon as you climax, you kick her out of the room. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But it could be like you have sex with her and you continue to hang out with her for 1, 2, 3 hours. You cuddle, you watch a movie. It's getting late. Hey, I'm gonna set you up in the guest room.
Well, that's a different story.
Well, that's what I'm talking about here.
Well,
So,
thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but it sounds like you would still have a problem with.
I don't think I would put myself in a position where I would sleep with a man and that would happen to me because.
Let me ask you a question though.
Yes.
You're not a virgin, right?
I am not, but I've only slept with 2 men.
2 men.
Yes.
So to be clear though, because I feel like this separate beds thing is typically not something really discussed. I mean, I guess some people could do it, but it's kind of a bit unique. It's a bit uncommon, I guess would be the best word. You're
My
telling me
grandparents slept in separate beds.
of the 2 men that you've been with, prior to having sex with them, you double checked to make sure that like you could sleep together with them. Like sleep.
I slept in the same bed as them before I did have
Okay, you had
sexual intercourse with them.
sleepovers.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It was
well, that
like a little
complicates
like
things.
it was little cutesy stuff.
Okay.
Sleepover
How about
type
this?
Of situation.
I'll present and I do remember you did want me to explain my reasoning, and I promise I'll
sir.
get there in just a moment. Let's say that was so. Okay. Initially the guy was fine with it. But he started noticing that when he did sleep in the same bed as you, maybe he was a light sleeper, maybe he had not like had girls do sleepovers before, maybe he's not sexually experienced, whatever it is, right? So initially he was like, oh, it's probably fine.
Right.
And then who knows, the girl snores, she
Snores,
moves in her
yeah.
bed, whatever it is, or just by virtue of having the presence of somebody else in his bed, it made it difficult for him to get a good night's rest.
Well, I've had those situations myself, and I couldn't rest with a man in my bed. And I was with this man for 2 years. I still couldn't sleep in the same bed as him. I'd go into the basement and sleep in the spare room because of the snoring and.
Wait, so
But that's what I'm
What?
saying. But I could sleep with him for
wait, so
a certain amount of time when we were in the beginning stages. But as we got to know each other,
speaking to
it
the
got
mic, please.
it got a lot harder for us to be in the same bed because first of all there was no intercourse
You're
going
arguing
on.
against your own. Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
that's fine. I guess I'm a blonde. Come on, Niall.
Clearly.
Give me that, please. The bleach has fried my brain.
But hold on. So on one hand, you have this major objection to, oh, if the guy won't share a bed with me, that's like a big problem. I wouldn't lay with a man who wouldn't lay with me.
I didn't
but
say
you
that
yourself,
verbatim.
well, that seemed to be the intention behind your words was, whoa, Brian, I'm strongly objecting to what you're describing here.
I think it's wrong when you just want to have sexual intercourse with a woman
That was
and you want
never
to kick her out of the room.
That was never the claim. You've totally, hold on, that was never my claim. Repeat back to me what my claim was.
Pretty much, you are okay with bringing a woman out and, you know, you guys do your thing and then you tell her, hey, look, you're going to the other room. That's pretty much what you said. Okay, you didn't give very much context when you said what you said. So pretty much what I had thought is, okay, you're just gonna do your thing, get a gun, and she's gone. She's to the other room. Well, that's pretty much what's going through my head. And you had to explain it, so thank you for giving me context. I appreciate that.
Okay, so now with the clarity and the context, so it's not just I'm being a massive dick, and it's like literally as I'm pulling out of her, I'm like, get the fuck out of the room. No. That's not what's happening. What's happening is maybe we hook up, maybe we don't. She's going to be spending the night. And the determination is, okay, I'm going to set you up in the guest room so that we have our separate sleeping spaces. We can each get a good night's sleep. That's the idea there. Do you still object to that?
Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just a woman, and I should be in a woman's place.
Are you going to participate in good faith? I'm answering your questions in good faith. So, I mean, that's just a troll answer.
Well, I've already told you my opinion.
Can you speak into the microphone?
I told you my opinion, and I'm so grateful that you gave me context. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't know if you should be with the person if you don't think you should be in the same bed with them. Even if you're having sex or not having sex. If you can't rest with them, I don't think you should be with them.
So just a reminder, you were dating, of the two men that you have had sex with, one of which snored, you were going into another room sleeping on the couch. So why were you with him?
It didn't last very long after that. That's for damn sure.
But
the beginning, I was bamboozled
confused.
in myself.
But I'm a little bit confused. So
I was disillusioned.
Right, but why were you so what you're saying, what I'm doing is wrong by wanting to sleep in separate spaces. You yourself.
I didn't say that was necessarily wrong.
You did.
I meant the point of just having intercourse with a woman and then kicking her to another room. I felt that was wrong in that component. I didn't feel just separate rooms was wrong.
Your argumentation is so slippery here because you just said, even when I provided the clarification and saying it's never, okay, I'm just using her for sex. She's just come over for sex, and I'm immediately kicking her out of the room. You still had an issue. Your position is this: if you sleep with a woman,
if she's good enough to fuck her, then you might as well lay her in bed with you. That's
okay.
all.
So let me pin you down to that position though.
Okay.
Okay. So your position is, removing varying degrees of context or whatever. Let's assume for your position. Let's say, it's not this sort of rude, she's just coming over for sex, then I'm going to kick her into the guest room right after sex. It can be like, yes, we do have sex, and I'm not kicking her out immediately.
Right.
I wouldn't even categorize it as kicking out, but we continue to hang out the rest of the night. Maybe we get some food, maybe we fuck again, and then maybe we watch a movie, we cuddle, and then we're both getting tired. Oh, hey, let me get you set up in the guest room. You said your position is, if you're willing to sleep with the girl, you should be willing to lay with them, sleep with them in the same bed, right? So do you have an issue with it in the way I just described it?
I don't, because I believe that's personal preference. And if I was to tell you you were wrong for having your own personal opinion, I would be a hypocrite.
But it is my preference. I get that. But you also said if you're willing to have sex with a woman, you should be willing to lay with her. Something to that effect, right?
I mean, you shouldn't you? If she's good enough for you to put your stuff into her.
So okay, is my preference wrong then?
It's your personal preference.
Well, I understand I can have the preference. Is it a bad or wrong preference?
I don't think you should be having a woman in your house and having intercourse with her and then shoving her into another room, whether it's hours in between or not. Like, if you're wanting to have
Thank you.
intercourse with a woman, you should keep her as your woman.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so you've dug in your heels a little bit on something that I can argue with now. Okay, so
I'm sorry.
now I'll give you the justifications for why. So first off, I think people, regardless of like a reason or justification for it, I think somebody's boundary is reason enough. So I don't think I shouldn't even have to explain it to a woman. I shouldn't even have to justify it. I think me simply just having a boundary, me in terms of my own, I guess this would be a justification, comfortability. If I just want to have my own sleeping space, and that's my boundary, that in and of itself should be enough. But I'm prepared to give you some reasons. So one, I think, look, if you're a fucking controversial podcast host, who knows, who knows? She's a fucking assassin who came to fuck and then murder you in your sleep or some shit. I don't know. But jokes aside a little bit, I think in terms of sleep quality, there's really compelling arguments that people sleep better in separate beds, even if there's not snoring from either partner. I do think it's the case that, at least for me, I know some people totally fine, not an issue. It won't have any impact on your sleep quality. For me, sleeping in the same bed as somebody does typically impact my sleep quality. I'm not a young gun anymore. I need my sleep time. I need to be able to get some good sleep, get the beauty sleep. I need to be well rested for my work. And honestly, just to be in a good mood, to be in a good disposition, I need a good night's sleep. So for those reasons, I do prefer to have, not to say that I can't do it, whatever, like sometimes, maybe on Valentine's Day, I'll be nice and she can sleep in the same bed or whatever. Maybe our anniversary, sure, go ahead, sleep at the foot of sleep on the ground. Not kidding. But generally speaking, I do like separate beds because of the sleep quality component to it. And I think my sleep quality supersedes my girlfriend's desire to have a little bit extra level of intimacy by sleeping in the same bed. Do you want to respond?
Who, me?
Yeah, I was answering your question.
I mean, that is totally your personal preference, and I'm not going to give you any hate on that. Where I come from, I would honestly feel rejected.
It's not about rejection, though.
But I have to come from a woman's point of view and say, hey, look, if a guy is looking at me saying, I'm good enough to fuck, but I'm not good enough to lay in his bed, I don't want to be there, quite frankly.
Why does it have to mean that you're not good enough, though?
But, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean that, but that's how women's brains typically think.
Yeah, but if
They go to worst mode.
Okay, but if I say, hey, listen, this is not a rejection of you. If I didn't have these issues with my sleep quality when I do share a bed, I would have absolutely no issue sharing a bed with you. It's not just you. It's been with all past
And you express that,
girlfriends.
though. That's a different thing. You exactly put it the way you feel, and you give me the explanation, okay? That's a different scenario opposed to somebody just being like, okay, one and done, go to the next room. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I give you your respect because you at least put your reasons why, and you give them the option to respect it or not. So kudos to you.
I give her the option to respect it or not. Well, I give her the option to respect it. If she disrespects it, I mean,
Yeah, she's gone, right?
back to the streets, I guess. I mean,